Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, the clock is absolutely ticking right now, and what we're looking at is an 800-day countdown. Today, we're unpacking a highly urgent source document that is completely reframing the future of our jobs. If you've been feeling that sort of low-grade background anxiety about how artificial intelligence might impact your livelihood, well, you're in the right place, because today we are going to pivot straight from fear into serious, actionable clarity. To really understand the stakes, we need to look at the sheer scale of what we're facing. It is staggering. A researcher at Google DeepMind recently went on the record stating that 99% of cognitive labor will be replaceable by AI within the next few years. Let that sink in for a second. We aren't talking about eventually. This isn't some distant sci-fi concept. We're talking about the next few years. It establishes immediately that AI disruption is happening right now in the very offices and remote workspaces that we log into every single day.
And the timeline, it actually gets even more specific. The source text points to a forecast established by Emad Mostak, a really prominent figure in the AI space, who put a hard number on this transition: 800 days. That is the countdown until he believes AI will make the majority of cognitive labor jobs economically redundant. So the clock is literally ticking. You might have a 6-month runway, or hey, maybe you have a 6-year runway before AI completely restructures how your specific work gets done. The biggest problem is that most of us have absolutely no idea where we stand on that timeline.
And honestly, that brings us to the psychological impact of all this. Because the real enemy here isn't actually the AI itself, it's the paralyzing uncertainty. You know the feeling. You read the headlines, you see the automation stats on your feed, and you get that Sunday night anxiety because you just don't know your actual exposure. Maybe your job is safe for a decade, or maybe the core tasks you do every day are about to be automated next quarter. That uncertainty paralyzes you. It totally stops you from making the right career moves. So the document we're analyzing today argues that the only way to beat this anxiety is by replacing it with actionable clarity. To bridge that gap between uncertainty and clarity, the source material introduces a platform called CareerGuard AI. And it's important to note, it describes this not as just another generic career coaching site or some AI anxiety helpline, but as a precision diagnostic tool. Think of it kind of like a cybersecurity audit, but for your professional life. It's a vulnerability scanner designed to tell you exactly where your career defenses are weak right now, before a major disruption happens, not after you've already been replaced. Okay, let's dive into this and see exactly how this platform works. The system is broken down into 3 super straightforward steps. First up, it generates your personalized career risk score. Second, it gives you a deep dive vulnerability analysis. And third, it actually builds you a concrete, customized 90-day protection plan. I love this because it takes something massive and terrifying, like global macroeconomic AI displacement, and boils it down into a completely manageable, step-by-step personal action plan.
And honestly, the most surprising part? 3 minutes. The source text heavily anchors on this number. It takes just 3 minutes of answering targeted questions about your current job title, your daily tasks, your industry, and your skills to get absolute clarity. It's designed to have zero barrier to entry. I mean, literally, in the time it takes you to brew a cup of coffee, you transition from totally guessing about your future to seeing it plotted right out in front of you.
So what do the results actually look like when you get them? The platform generates a risk score on a scale of 0 to 100. If you score under 30, great news. You're in a strong position. Your timeline for major disruption is measured in years. If you're between 30 and 60, you are in the transition zone. That means AI is already affecting your industry and you need to act now. And if you score above 60, you're in the high-risk category. Your core tasks are highly automatable, which makes getting a protection plan absolutely urgent. The text actually notes that most people expect their score to be lower than it really is. But getting an honest, maybe even uncomfortable number early on is so much better than finding out the hard way when the market shifts. All right, once you've got your number, you move right into step 2, your vulnerability analysis. And this is crucial because generic advice like just go learn AI or upskill in coding really doesn't help anyone. You need to understand exactly why you got your specific score. What parts of your daily routine are the most vulnerable? What industry trends are currently working against you? This step breaks down the why so you can actually figure out the how. And here is where it gets really interesting. The analysis doesn't just point out your flaws, it identifies the specific, stubbornly human capabilities that actually protect workers. We're talking about things like AI collaboration literacy, learning how to use AI as a force multiplier, or applying human judgment, ethics, and contextual reasoning in AI environments. Things like creative and strategic direction, complex relationship management, and deep domain expertise.
These are tremendous assets. The platform reminds you that your humanity, your judgment, and your ability to navigate nuanced relationships are traits that AI just can't easily replicate.
Which brings us to step 3, the 90-day career protection plan. It breaks everything down for you week by week. In week 1, you might tackle your absolute most urgent vulnerability. By week 2, you're already building a complementary skill. And by day 90, the whole plan compounds into a strong, defensible set of AI-adjacent capabilities. The whole point is to make yourself way more valuable in an AI-augmented workplace, fundamentally shifting your professional narrative over the course of 3 months. Section Real-World Scenarios. Let's find your position. To really see how this works, take a financial analyst, for example. She has 12 years of deep Excel modeling expertise, but she gets a shockingly high-risk score of 71. Ouch. The reality check here? The modeling tasks she does all day long are actually among the most automatable tasks in finance right now. But with her 90-day plan, she successfully pivots. She shifts her focus away from building models from scratch and moves towards strategically directing and validating AI-generated models, using her deep domain expertise. By day 90, she has crafted a completely new professional narrative for herself. Then, consider a marketing manager. He lands squarely in the transition zone with a score of 44. His analysis shows he urgently needs to develop AI content strategy skills. So over his 90 days, he takes specific learning paths. He repositions his LinkedIn profile to signal his new AI fluency, and he actually gets recognized by his leadership team for his AI initiative during his annual review. He didn't wait around to be told to learn it. He signaled his value early. Or what about an HR director? She scores a 58. Now, she assumed a highly people-focused job was entirely safe, but the diagnostic reveals some major hidden vulnerabilities in her routine admin tasks. The pivot here is just brilliant. She uses her 90 days to delegate or automate those specific tasks and aggressively moves up the value chain. She shifts her entire focus to strategic workforce planning and irreplaceable culture building, areas where human judgment is absolutely paramount. And finally, let's look at a senior consultant who scores a really strong 38. Now, she could just breathe a massive sigh of relief and do nothing. But instead, she uses this validation of her durable human expertise to pivot into becoming an AI strategy advisor. She literally uses her deep understanding of AI disruption to start conversations with her more vulnerable clients, turning what is a global technological threat into a massive business development opportunity for herself. The contrast woven throughout this entire document is just incredibly stark. On one hand, you have the person who just reads the scary headlines, feels that pit of anxiety in their stomach, and waits. On the other hand, you have the person who gets clarity and builds a plan. The window of opportunity is wide open right now. The professionals who are thriving in this new landscape aren't necessarily smarter or better connected. They are simply the ones choosing to act and understand their exposure while there is still time to do something about it. And what's great is that this platform is deliberately structured to be accessible because, as the text points out, everyone deserves the chance to protect their livelihood. The source material outlines a starter plan priced at just $19 a month, which is literally less than the cost of one lunch out. They also mention that lifetime deals are open, really reinforcing the idea that this isn't just a one-time pass-or-fail assessment, but an ongoing relationship with your professional positioning as the technology landscape continues to rapidly evolve. This leaves us with a truly provocative thought from the text. You cannot control how fast artificial intelligence changes your industry. You just can't stop the models from getting faster, smarter, and cheaper. But what will you do with your next 3 minutes? Because what you can control is whether you spend those next few minutes finding out exactly what your exposure is, or whether you just keep doom scrolling and hoping for the best. So the call to action from the source material is incredibly direct. Go to careerguardai.com right now. Take the 3 minutes to get your honest score and start your 90-day protection plan. It is all about empowering yourself so that when you sit down at your desk on Monday morning, you are not paralyzed by the unknown, but you're actually motivated by a clear strategic path forward. The 800-day countdown has already started. The only question left is, how are you going to use your time?